Indian households are sitting on some of the most valuable gold reserves on earth, and most of that wealth is doing absolutely nothing for them. Hi, I'm Captain Dave, and this is Smart About Wealth, where we break down money, mindset, and the deeper laws that connect them twice a week, no fluff. If you've ever felt like your family has some money locked away somewhere but never seems to have cash when it's actually needed, stay for the next 7 minutes because I'm going to show you exactly why that happens. And it's not really about how much you earn. Hit subscribe now, tap like, and share this with anyone in your family who still thinks gold in a locker is the same thing as financial security. Let's start with the picture almost nobody in India questions because it's been normal for generations. A large share of Indian household wealth continues to sit in physical gold. Jewelry, coins, bars, much of it purchased not as an investment decision but as tradition, as insurance, as something for the daughter's wedding or something for bad times. Despite growing financial awareness, a significant share of Indian household savings continues to be parked in physical gold, often lying idle at home. Here's the problem with that. Gold sitting in a locker or almirah is not the same as gold working for you. It earns no interest. It generates no dividend. It doesn't compound. It just sits there, valuable on paper, completely inactive in practice, until the day it's sold, usually at a moment of stress, usually for less than its full value once you account for making charges you paid but can never recover. And it's not just gold. Look at the bigger picture of Indian household finances right now, and a pattern emerges that should concern every single family watching this. Household savings had averaged 20.1% of GDP in the decade before the pandemic. Net financial savings of Indian households dropped to 14.16 lakh crore rupees in 2022 to 23. About 5.3% of GDP compared to 7.2% in 2021 to 22, a 6-year low. Read that again. Indian households are saving less as a share of the economy than they have in 6 years. At the same time, and this is the part that should really get your attention, households are not only increasing their savings but have also been borrowing more. So we have a country where physical gold holdings remain enormous and emotionally treasured, savings rates are falling to multi-year lows, and borrowing is rising. That is not a coincidence. That is a pattern, and the pattern has a name: asset rich, cash poor. Here's what that actually looks like inside an average Indian household. On paper, if you added up the gold, the property, the fixed deposits maturing in the distant future, the family looks financially secure. In practice, if an emergency hit tomorrow, a medical bill, a job loss, an urgent expense, very little of that wealth is actually liquid, accessible, or usable within 48 hours without taking a loan against it or selling it at a discount. This is the trap. Wealth that looks impressive from the outside but cannot actually protect the family in the moment it's needed most. Why does this keep happening generation after generation? Because gold in India isn't purely a financial decision, it's an emotional and cultural one. And there is nothing wrong with that. The problem isn't that families value gold. The problem is treating gold as the entire financial plan instead of one piece of it. There's actually a smarter way to hold the exact same asset. Instead of only physical gold sitting idle, financial instruments exist. Sovereign gold bonds issued by the Government of India offer a unique and secure gold investment route, providing regular interest payments and the assurance of government backing. Unlike jewelry in a locker, this version of gold actually pays you while you hold it and doesn't carry the making charges you lose the moment you buy physical jewelry. Industry voices are now openly saying that channelizing household gold into digital and regulated financial products could improve returns for families, which tells you this isn't a fringe idea. This is the direction personal finance in India is already heading, even if most households haven't caught up yet. I'm not telling you to sell your mother's wedding jewelry. That gold carries meaning no spreadsheet can calculate, and it shouldn't have to. What I am telling you is this: for any new gold you're planning to buy, the next purchase, the next investment decision, ask whether it needs to be physical or whether a portion of it could go into a form that actually works for your family while you hold it. The same question applies beyond gold. Fixed deposits that mature in 15 years, land that's been in the family for 2 generations with no clear plan, insurance policies bought because an uncle sold them rather than because they fit your goals, all of it falls into the same trap. Wealth that exists but doesn't work. Real financial security in an Indian household isn't measured by how much gold sits in the locker. It's measured by how quickly your family could access real money if an emergency hit tomorrow without panic selling anything at a loss. So here's what I want you to actually do this week. Sit with your family, parents, spouse, whoever manages money in your household, and ask one honest question. If we needed 5 lakh rupees by tomorrow morning, where would it actually come from? And how much would we lose getting it there fast? That single conversation will tell you more about your real financial health than any amount of gold sitting in a locker ever could. If this video made you see your own family's finances a little differently, subscribe for more of this twice a week, no fluff, like this video, and share it with the person in your family who manages the household finances. This is exactly the kind of conversation worth having before an emergency forces it, not after. See you in the next one.